Hey guys, my name's Jenny, and I'll be taking you through the process of a SWOT analysis of an event planner, or in my case, a wedding planner. I decided to ask Annette Hoover, who works at USC actually, if I could shadow her and do a SWOT analysis on her as far as how planning a wedding goes. The wedding that we did was in Greenville, South Carolina at the Cliffs, February 25th. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first thing in a SWOT analysis, which is strengths. My first strength I had was organization. Annette was very organized through the entire wedding. She actually had a form that had times and stuff like that that we needed to get through throughout the day. Another thing that Annette had strength with was time management. Like I said, with the organization comes with time management. They kind of go hand in hand. And with that form, she had, 8 o'clock, be there, be with the bride, make sure she has this, make sure she has that, pictures by noon, and such like that. So you have to make sure, it's very important when you're doing a wedding, that you do have time management, and I felt like Annette did a very good job with time management. The next thing in a SWOT analysis is opportunities. The first thing I have with having an event planner or a wedding planner at your wedding is it allows the bride to be stress-free. So it gives her the opportunity to not stress about anything and let the wedding planner do all the work. A thing that branches off of this opportunity is it also allows the family and the guests who are closer to the bride to enjoy their time as well. I know I've done a few other weddings, and the family and the close relatives and friends help with everything, and after the wedding, they're cleaning everything up, they're grabbing the bouquets, they're throwing everything in the trash and such, and I just think that really takes away from it. So the opportunities of having a wedding planner just lets you have a stress-free time, and you can have a good time with your friends and your family, not just allowing the bride to be stress-free. The next thing in a SWOT analysis is weaknesses. One weakness I noticed that Annette had was she actually forgot the list that the mom of the bride had given us the day before. At the rehearsal, she had a few things that Annette didn't have on her list, and Annette had forgotten that. So unfortunately, we did have to go find the mom and make sure everything was good to go, which when you are planning a wedding, you want to make sure that you don't bother them, because everything's on your shoulders at that point, and you want it the best it can be, because hopefully it only happens one time in your life. Another weakness I saw when doing my SWOT analysis with Annette was working with the employees at the venue, because essentially when you're a wedding planner, you're not employed with that venue, and you kind of step on each other's toes because the tables aren't placed where you envisioned or where the bride envisioned. However, fire code and the event stuff, that's how it has to go. So that was kind of a weakness I felt. It's just hard. You really have to work together, the wedding staff and the contracted wedding planner. You have to come together to get an agreement so the bride does have what she wants, because if you don't give her what she wants, that's on your hands. It's not on the wedding venue's hands. And lastly, the last thing in the SWOT analysis are threats. Weather was a threat. The wedding was in February, and although it doesn't snow very often in Greenville, South Carolina, it could have. And the Cliffs is at a very high elevation. So if it would have snowed, the Cliffs would actually not allow anybody up the road, which would have meant no wedding. That day, it was very cloudy and very windy, so it was very cold for the guests. It wasn't necessarily snowing, but it was colder. Their reception was out on a porch, and a lot of the guests didn't use that side, which is unfortunate because, they did pay for that extra additional porch area in the reception. And so with the weather being not as well as the bride may have thought, that was a huge weakness. Or threat, I'm sorry. Another threat that specific venue I think would have, although there aren't a lot of venues around the Cliffs is a very high scale and very expensive venue. And so other venues that might be, in downtown Greenville, which is about 20 minutes from the Cliffs, is a threat because they have better prices, they have better deals, they also don't have a huge hill or elevation that could cancel your event in terms of bad weather. All in all, the event went really great. I enjoyed doing my SWOT analysis on Annette Hoover. She's a great woman. She taught me a lot of great things. And the bride had a great time. So it went well. Really, it did.